Hi, LindaBauwin here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today is an exciting day in Stampin' Up! World as our new Stampin' Blends are being showcased, where our customers can order them. These come singly or in a twin pack with 2 colors. The cool thing about these alcohol markers is they are exclusive colors with Stampin' Up! They do have a fine barrel on one side, tight lid so that they will not evaporate, and then a wide tip on the other side. So just very cool. This is the Bermuda Bay, and it's, like I said, we can get a light one and a dark one. You can buy them separately. Usually your lighter color dries out quicker, so that way you can just replace that one. They do have the square barrels, so they aren't going to be rolling off your table. So I want to share with you, of course, today is Tuesday in Creative Fold, so I thought I would share this beautiful creative fold with you. This is, I believe it's called a peekaboo card. It looks like so, and then it opens like so. So let's get started. What I used was the Naturally Eclectic Designer Series paper. This paper has like a watercolor look. It's light and dark. It's got a pretty print on this side, but a solid on this side. So what I have done, I have cut 2 of these. These measure 1 5/8 by 5. And then I have 3 pieces of vanilla. These measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece of Bermuda Bay. This measures 2 1/8 by 11, and I have scored it at the 5 1/2. Then I have a quarter sheet of, and I see I have a little paper burr there. Let me turn that off. This actually measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I have already taken our layering squares and have cut out a scallop square and a regular square with my Big Shot in those framelits. Now, one thing with the Memento, or excuse me, with the blends is that you need a Memento ink pad to stamp with. I am going to bring in, you've got this flower, and I'm going to stamp it on a thick piece of Very Vanilla. 2 things that are very important. You need the Memento ink pad to stamp your outline image so that it won't bleed with your alcohol markers. And it's very smart to use our thick cardstock, either Whisper White or Very Vanilla. Again, I've used the Very Vanilla, so I'm just going to go in and ink that flower and stamp it on that square. Now, everybody's going to have a different way of teaching you how to use the blends. I say the best way is for you to practice, but what I find is I like to use the darker color first, and I go in and highlight where I want the darker shades. Now, I am not a watercolor, and I don't pretend to be a watercolor person, so, you know, all that, knowing where the light source is coming in, all of that, is really not me. So I just go in and highlight where I want some darker color, and then I go in, remembering to cap that. Something else nice about our caps is they do snap on the top of our markers so that when we're blending we don't have to worry about where they're at. So we're just going to stamp that lighter one, and then I am going to be using a circular motion to color that flower in. Again, a lot of people start with a lighter color and then add the darker. We can always go in and add more dark if we want to. So no rhyme nor reason, I don't think, of coloring. You're going to get the same results. Some people like to leave a lot of white space or open space with no color. That's an option when you're watercoloring with the Stampin' Blends. What I am going to do is I'm going to now, I've got those different colors, and I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but there is lighter and darker in there, and I'm going to go now in with my Color Lifter. Color Lifter is just an opaque marker, but when you go in, it removes the color. So you can see that there. It also softens. If you've got some edge lines, it softens the edges, but it just makes for a lighter shade. So I'm just going to go in and add some of that. Again, I do not have watercolor techniques, but the Stampin' Blends allows me to be a beautiful artist, a color. So I'm now going to go in with the Old Olive. I'm going to add that solid down the stem and just kind of follow the dark leaves. Our stamps kind of give us a good hint where it should be dark and light. If there are black marks, you can usually add that as a place to add your darker colors. Again, I like to start with my darker colors and then add and blend with my lighter colors. I'm going to go in with that Color Lifter again and just blend them out even some more. Going to bring in just one shade of the alcohol marker with the yellow. Now, I noticed that with the Stampin' Blends, the colors are so vivid, just really jump out at you. Another nice benefit of the blends is that we can go in and color our pearls. So I'm going to take my pearls, I'm going to color a couple of different sizes here with the markers, the Bermuda Bay, and then I'm just going to pick them up with my, I'm going to add that to my project. So the blends will color rhinestones, your brads, anything that you have so that you have them in the color that you're coloring in. So let's go ahead and put our card together. What we're going to do is bring in our fast fuse, and we're going to take that 2 1/8 by 11, and I just see there we go. Got my fast fuse moving the wrong way. I'm going to add that to the base of my card. I'm going to bring in those pieces of vanilla, and one will go on the front flap, the other one will go back on the back of that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then one is going to go inside, just to follow through with that vanilla and a place to write. I'm going to bring in that Designer Series paper. Again, this is from that Naturally Eclectic, and it is that watercolor paper. I love that Stampin' Up's Designer Series paper now has like a bold image on one side or printed, and then more a softer image on the back. And I really didn't know what to do with that watercolor paper, but this is the perfect card for that, just to give it a background. I'm going to bring in that scalloped square. I'm going to add a couple dimensionals on there, and add my watercolor. Now, I want to make sure I don't put too much adhesive on this because we want this card to open. I'm just going to put it on the bottom half of that square. And there you have it, a fun peekaboo card using the new Stampin' Blends. Head over to my blog, stampingwithlinda.com, hit shop now, and order those beautiful blends now. Make sure you check out my blog also, and I will list the colors that are available. We do not have all of our colors available in the blends, but we've got a nice selection. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.